Hey guys, what's up? It's Kat and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, I'm sharing with you guys my current favorites. Songs, movies, and shows. Hey! Let's get into the list! The first song I have on my list is Saturday Nights by Khalid. This song is so good. It's fantastic. It's so good. It's so good. The next song on the list is Power by Little Mix. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. That song came out like last year or maybe 2 years ago. I have no idea. But it came out a while ago and I just discovered it like last month. I watched the entire MCU in 1 week. And then I ended up watching a ton of female empowerment edits on YouTube. And a lot of them had Power as the background song. So that's how I got into it. So good. So fantastic. We love. I also love Little Mix too. Let me just point that out. So amazing. This next song is That Way by Tate McRae. I just love her. She has the most amazing songs ever. She's the writer of You Brought Me First, the viral song on TikTok, but I knew her before that.
And there's no way that I'll end up being with you, but friends don't look at friends that way. Friends don't look at friends that way.
One Woman Army by Porcelain Black. This song is fantastic. I was listening to it yesterday in the shower.
I'm on the battlefield like, oh my God, oh la la. Knocking soldiers down like house of cards, oh la la. I'm a one-woman army, oh la la. Yes, I'm a one-woman army, oh la la, oh la la.
That's another song that I found through edits. Next song is Brand New by Ben Rector. I started listening to the song 2 days ago. I was on Instagram Reels a couple days ago and I discovered this TikTok that was like summer songs that these signs should be listening to. And I'm a Leo, so when the Leo one popped up, Brand New, I was like, period. Let's go listen to it. It's so good. It's amazing.
Like when I close my eyes, don't even care. Brand new.
Here is another popular song on Instagram Reels that I've discovered. This is Heartbreak Anniversary. Period. I've only listened to the song once, full through, so I don't know the lyrics except like the main part of it.
Just like the day that I met you, the day I thought forever. Said that you love me, but that'll last forever.
It's so good. It's so good. The next song is by a super underrated artist. Her name is Sophie Pecora. This song is called Overthinking. I just super related to the song.
I'm overthinking again. Get these thoughts out of my head. They're reaching and they're not leaving tonight. Leave me alone and I don't know what to do. I can try to stop my mind, but I always lose. I'm overthinking again. All these things I never say.
Okay, that is my list of songs. I also have a few movies and shows with soundtrack that I'll be talking about later. First up, we have the movie that I've watched at least 40 times since it came out. It's called A Week Away. It's a Netflix original movie. The soundtrack is amazing. It's Netflix's first faith-based movie. Oh my god, I love it. It's so good. It stars Kevin Quinn from Bunked. It stars Bailey Madison from like everything. It also stars Jabril Cook, who you probably don't know. He's a super underrated actor. This is his first like big feature film, I think. Same with Kat Connor Sterling, who plays Presley. This is also one of her first big feature films, which is crazy. It's about this kid and his parents died. It's like juvie or church camp. So he's like, let's go to church camp. He meets George, he meets Avery, he meets Presley. And then there's like the evil guy who's like, I need to figure out who this guy is because he's like lying to her. And it's like a whole thing, and it's just so good, and it's summer camp. Everyone in this movie is just so talented, and the songs are amazing. The movie is so good. Oh my god, just go watch it. Please go watch it. It's on Netflix. It's amazing. It's just the best movie I've ever watched, and I never say that about things. Go watch it. Next movie is Falling in Love. I discovered this movie a couple years ago. It's another Netflix original. I think it's a Netflix original, I'm not positive. Falling in Love is about a girl. She loses her job, her boyfriend. She gets drunk, enters a win an inn contest, wins the inn, goes to New Zealand, fixes up the inn, discovers she loves it, and ends up staying there. And there's a love interest, and yeah, it's really, really good. Watch it. The next trilogy is Descendants 1 through 3. I love the Descendants movies. I hadn't watched the third one, and then I ended up watching all three in like one weekend because I was just obsessed. And I had to absorb all the Descendants content. I love all three of those movies and all three of the soundtracks, and the fact that Kenny Ortega directed it just made it 10 times better. I love Kenny Ortega. He's like one of my favorite directors. And that soundtrack, all three of the soundtracks are so freaking amazing. They're so good. We have The Greatest Showman next up on the list. I love this movie. I love Hugh Jackman. I love Zendaya. I love the entire cast. They're all so talented. The songs are amazing. If you haven't seen The Greatest Showman, it's based off of the guy who makes the Barnum's Circus or whatever. The Circus. Such a great message. I watched it one weekend and I just obsessed over it. I think I watched it like 2 more times after that. Speaking of Zendaya, that leads us into the MCU. Like I mentioned earlier on, I watched the entire MCU in 1 week. I watched The Greatest Showman and I was like, oh my god, I need to watch Spider-Man. I love Tom Holland, I love Zendaya, and I was like, I need to watch the Spider-Man movies. So I texted my friend and I was like, girl, is there any way that I can watch just the Spider-Man movies without knowing anything else about all of the MCU? And she was like, no, you have to watch the entire MCU to watch Spider-Man. She didn't actually say that, but she said something along the lines of like, you can, but you probably won't know much. So I was like, you know what? I'm doing it for Zendaya and Tom Holland. So I ended up watching the entire MCU in 1 week just so that I could watch Spider-Man, Homecoming, and Far From Home. I watched all of them in order and I ended up obsessing over it, and now I'm in love with the MCU. I love it all. I love it. Oh my god, I could talk about the MCU for hours. I'm just gonna list my 5-6 favorite movies from the MCU. My favorites are Captain America Winter Soldier, Avengers Age of Ultron, Infinity War, and Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home. Those are my 5 favorite MCU movies. I have been watching The Falcon and the Winter Soldier lately. If you have too, please hit me up because I need someone to talk to. I already have Laura. Shout out Laura, bestie. Oh, she's the one who got me through it all. Anyways, if you haven't seen the MCU, go watch it. Look up the list. It's on Disney Plus. All of them except the Spider-Man movies are on Disney Plus. So good. First up, we're gonna stick with the MCU shows that I'm talking about related to the MCU, so I'll just go through those first. We have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter. Agent Carter's on Disney Plus. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is on Netflix. It follows Coulson after the Avengers movie, after he dies. He has this crew and they go on like little tasks, and it's so good. It has Elizabeth Henstridge, it has Chloe Bennett, Dove Cameron a little bit, obviously Clark Gregg, Ming-Na Wen. Love her. I love the show. If you've seen the MCU, go watch it. It's so good. Agent Carter follows Peggy Carter after Steve goes into the ice. It's after the war. Her struggling with like no guy respecting women. And she works for the SSR, which is like pre-S.H.I.E.L.D. It has Sousa, who's in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season 7. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I'm in love with Sousa. And then obviously we have WandaVision and The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. WandaVision finished releasing a couple weeks ago, and The Falcon and the Winter Soldier started a couple weeks ago as well. I am filming this 2 days after The Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 4. And if you know that episode was insane. Some of my favorite directors of all time are Anthony and Joe Russo. I love their work in the MCU. Those are the MCU shows that I wanted to talk about. Next up, we have No Good Nick. It stars Tiana Ayudog. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. But it's on Netflix. It's really, really good. It's about this girl. She pretends to be a distant relative of this family, steals from them to bail her dad out of jail. You just follow her journey. Next up, we have The Good Place, which is also on Netflix. I love this show. It stars Kristen Bell and some other people that I don't know the names of because I didn't research. Super talented people. It's about this girl. She dies. She goes to the good place. She isn't supposed to be there, and she tells her soulmate that she's not supposed to be there. And her soulmate on Earth, when he was still alive, was an ethics professor, so he teaches her how to be good. And then they discover another guy who's also not supposed to be there. He teaches both of them ethics and how to be good. I'm rewatching it right now. I think I'm like season 2, episode 11 into it right now. Next up, we have a musical show on Netflix called Julie and the Phantoms, which is directed by Kenny Ortega. It has a lot of popular people that I'm guessing you recognize. Madison Reyes, who is super new, and this is her first role, which is insane because she's such a talented singer and you would not guess it by watching the show. Richard Joyner, Jeremy Shada. Next show is Alexa and Katie. It has a great cast. It's about this girl. She has cancer. Her best friend. They go to high school. Girl who has cancer shaves her head. Best friend shaves her head with the girl. Then they both wear wigs, and it's like, it's great. And there's like love interest, which makes it 10 times better. Next show is Cobra Kai. I'm sure many of you know the show based off of the movies Karate Kid. The two guys have dojos and their teams compete against each other. It stars Peyton List. I just recently got my dad into it, and he called me yesterday and he told me that he completely finished it and that he loved it. It's really good. It's so good. Watch it on Netflix. The next show that I want to talk about is the show that I've been watching most recently, which is called The Good Witch, based off of the Good Witch movies, and it stars Bailey Madison. It's this girl. She's a witch. She has a cousin who's also a witch. The girl cousin comes back, and she's a daughter. The daughter's dad dies. She meets another guy, the guy moves in, he has a kid, and then there's sexual tension between both of them, but the kid can't be together because the parents are together, and then they get married, and then there's definitely sexual tension, and then they get in a fight, and then they go off to college, and it's so good. Definitely watch it. Go watch all of these things. Go listen to all of these things. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what videos you guys want to see because I have a lot of free time on my hands. Subscribe. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Bye-bye.